about it on the broadcast, and Scout was saying that he's like, he kind of was like,
oh, well,
it worked out yesterday. Well, yeah, that's true.
Snapped at him.
I know, dude, that was funny. Because Drew's like,
just fucking
so
told you,
doing that? He's like, I just fucking said. Dude, that was funny. That was a great
all right, and there was like almost like an awkward silence too. They were kind of like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners. Tech cursive on the
all right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner, Thursday, October 24th. Celtics just beat the brakes off the Wizards. Much like we did the Knicks, looking pretty unstoppable. Chuddy, how are you tonight? How are things?
Doing well, nice and relaxed again, having a good time, enjoying getting back in the flow of the 4 screens on a nightly basis. Just a beautiful thing in the Chuddy Dome.
Last night was a big night for you. I saw your tweet, back to business or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. So good. There's a new multi-view on
through the roof.
The NBA app has a multi-view too, so I can get 4 games on the big screen and then 3 games on the surrounding screens. I guess I could put 2 on the app and go 8 games if there ever was. Like
the Octabox. Wow.
I could do it. Yeah. I mean, I could do
last night was a
quad Octabox. That'd be insane. So many possibilities.
Wow.
Just having fun.
Impressive stuff. We're going to have to maybe do a fan giveaway that someone go watch the games with King Chuddy.
It's going to be a good season.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the first crunch time? Wednesday, you think you said?
Yeah, next Wednesday. I think the 30th. Should get crunchy. Should get real crunchy.
Real crunchy. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll probably end up talking a lot about the league stuff. I mean, as far as tonight's game, Celtics get the win 122 to 102. I'm sorry. Tatum, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. I think he played like 28 minutes. Jalen got 27, 8 and 3. Derek White, 19 points. I mean, I'd say like the first quarter was relatively like close. You know, it was a little bit like this is exciting. It was the Jordan Poole show, like the greenest light of all time.
Yeah,
that was a good comment by you. Like he really does on that roster. Like why?
Yeah, why not?
He's gonna let it fly. And so he pretty much kept them in. I think he had the first 6 3-pointers for the team. So I mean, outside of that though, this is just the best team, maybe of the generation, taking on maybe the worst team of the generation. I mean, the Wizards are bad. Yeah. Even Mrs. Dugouts was like, "What is this team?" I'm like, I don't know. They're just hoping that they get the first overall pick. Like that's pretty much it. So don't expect too much competition. So go ahead, give us your thoughts. I mean, I got a bunch of thoughts, but go ahead. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not too much to take away other than what you just said. A really good team that's obviously vying for a title against a team that's completely bottoming out, rebuilding, and trying for the number 1 pick. You got about what you expect. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the Celtics came out certainly not with the same like intensity as they did in opening night against the Knicks, and it just didn't really matter. I think it was even more than the first quarter. It was tied like 50 to 50 or 51-51 with a few minutes left, pushed it up to like a 10-point lead at halftime, and then just
I think 53-52 was the closest, and then I think we went on like a 13-2 run and
blew
it was
the lid
over
off.
from there.
Last couple minutes of the second quarter, opening of the third quarter was very quickly over, and I think that's I don't want to say the difference because it was like this last year too, but the feeling around it, at least for me, like I had a friend text me in the first quarter when the Wizards were up like 33-32 or something, and they were like, "Yep, I had a feeling this was gonna be a trap game." And like last year, I think I would have been thinking the same thing. Instead, I immediately texted back and I was like, "We're gonna win this game by 15 plus, like no question in my mind." And it's exactly what happened. So again, like they were doing that last year too, but this year it's like I'm not even worried about it. So I think it's gonna be a common theme this year. Kind of talked about it even with the Knicks game tonight, though. It was even more like we probably could have been down by 20, and I wouldn't have even been sweating. It's just like ho hum, no big deal.
You're right. There was almost like there did have to almost be, at least for me, like almost like this conscious effort to not like revert into that kind of like, just because, I mean, again, it seems like a millennia ago now, but I mean, there was like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, we were coming so close and it was just kind of like, oh my God, what's like, we have to get over the hump, the urgency we had last season. So it is, it was definitely nice to see, catching myself, because
Right.
exactly those times where it's like, fuck, like I knew this was like where last year I'd come on and be like, this is fucked up,
Right.
whatever. I even saw people on still some people on Twitter, I don't know if that's a shtick or what, but some of the people like this team doing this. It's like, bro, we don't do this. All right, we won last year.
Right.
It's done.
And it's also
It's
like
done.
the bar now is like, oh my God, we're not up double digits in the first quarter. Like, what are we doing? As if that's like normal. Like we've won both games by 20, we're
Right.
up in both games by 30. The starters rested most of the fourth quarter in both games. And it is going to be funny. Like we're going to have some random night where we, play a 5-point game against like some random team and people are going to be freaking out. And it's like, no, this is just totally normal. We're not, as much as it looks like it right now, we're not going to win every game by 30. There will definitely be off nights. And at least for me, I think it's going to be easier to just like not get frustrated.
What percentage of games do you think we can win by 30?
Can or will?
Will.
Can,
well, I mean, yeah.
probably 100.
No, will.
Will we win by 30 or have a 30-point lead?
Yeah.
Because I guess we've had a 30-point lead now.
Well, I guess
we've
had a 30-point lead in both. Yeah.
Only one
I guess,
by 20.
because winning by 30 is hard to not,
I mean...
leading by 30 in the fourth, we say.
Yeah.
The intern will have to work overtime to track this.
I would say 33%, like a third of the games we could do that. Is that crazy?
That number. That was probably a little bit higher than I would have said, but now that you've said it, I love it. I mean, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of teams tanking, too, with the flag thing. I think a lot of teams, honestly, if the Celtics keep looking like this, I wouldn't be surprised if there's teams that kind of go the opposite route and, use this as their rest day. Instead of, doing load management against bad teams, they're going to be like, fuck, it's second night of back-to-back and we're playing at Boston, we're just resting our stars.
I don't know about that. I mean, that'd be
I don't know.
Great, cool for us. Almost, honestly, that could be a whole league-wide strategy, to lull us into, some false sense of security or
anyone's
something.
best until the playoffs.
Right, yeah, that might be the best reason to do that move, but I think otherwise, we saw with even the Wizards that first quarter, it felt like they were giving us their best, that
For
they were
sure,
trying
but,
to,
like you said, that's their best, and
their best is. Right.
I think you could probably take away more, at least for me, about the Wizards and the Celtics from this game. The Celtics, we didn't really see anything we didn't know. It was just everyone kind of taking their turn, doing their thing, having a turn. Happy birthday, Jalen. He had a couple nice back-to-back threes before he got pulled for the night. Tatum had 20 and 9 at halftime, and just again looked like the best player in the world during the somewhat competitive portion of the game. And then everyone else just trickling down from there. No Hauser, so we saw some early Walsh minutes, and with the Wizards playing some bigs, we saw a lot of double bigs for the Celtics, including some early Keita minutes. Keita, who ended up having a nice game, and those weren't all end of game minutes too. He was playing kind of some normal time, so good stuff. In terms of the Wizards, I remember saying this last year, but I think it's even more true now. As much as if you're a Wizards fan, and I don't know if there really are any, but it was a grim watch, and this is gonna be a long season. But at the same time, the team has been treading through mediocrity for so long. It's better to just do this. Yeah. Maybe you do get a Cooper flag on the other side of the rainbow. They were trying for so long to be the 9 seed, the 8 seed. It's what a waste. It's actually better. The new owners or whatever, they've finally bottomed out, and it's ugly, but we haven't seen all the teams yet. I mean, I've seen most of them now, but there are going to be a lot of teams worse than them. I don't think so. They're going to be in the mix for one of those top few guys in a stacked draft, and good for them. That's what they need to be relevant again. So as much as Wizards fans are like, this sucks, I hope they do realize what it's all about and just enjoy watching Jordan Poole chuck it up 20 times a game and score 20 points in the first quarter. That was fun.
He might shoot them out of the
in and out. Well, it's funny because you when you're sending me that gif about
in and
saying
out is good. Yeah, it's true.
As much as there will be games where you're like, shit, he's stopping the tank. I think more often than not, you're gonna be like, this guy is the best tank commander. He's the perfect general to be leading the tank. Because it's
what was that thing where it was designing the best player? It's certain person's right hand. It's designing the best tank general, and it's just literally just is Jordan Poole's head, Jordan Poole's hand, Jordan Poole's heart. It's just every piece of it is Jordan Poole.
And even this game where it felt like
any better.
This was as good as he was going to play. He had 20 points in the first quarter. I think finished with 26 points. So it's almost like one of those things where you see him make his first few shots, and you're like, great. This just means he's going to launch it every time he gets the ball the whole game. Which again, with this Wizards team, might be the case. I thought they have have
showed-
some nice young players. I don't know if they have like a nice star. That's why it's so important for them to get one the next few years. But I mean, I thought Sarr, like for the project that he is, looked decent. He had a few nice defensive plays, and he got burnt a few times. But again,
Not against Tatum.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're asking him.
Well, yeah,
that's a big
not
ask.
against the-
That's a big ask.
Why? What's with that matchup? I don't even
Well,
understand.
no, that
Isn't
was
he a
just
center.
Yeah, they were switching
We were just
around.
picking on him.
They were
like,
playing, yeah,
I
we were
guess.
going at all
It
of
just
their,
seemed like it kept happening.
all of their
but that
rookies.
must just
Yeah.
be us hunting.
That was a few times in that one sequence. But again,
Killer
like,
whales.
that's the thing about I mean, Sarr, he's supposed to be like one of those all versatile defensive players. And again, I think we saw some of it. I don't think like getting cooked by Tatum on the perimeter is a sign of anything. So, I mean, I thought there was reason for optimism there. I think Bilal Coulibaly is going to be a really good player. He was a rookie last year. And Bub Carrington was one of my favorite guys in the draft that they got. He got injured at the end. I hope that was nothing serious. But like, I think if you're a Wizards fan, there are at least reasons for optimism. And it's going to be a fun season to like root for
was
all
that
these young guys.
Carlton Carrington.
Yeah, Bub Carrington. Carlton.
Great
Bub
name.
Carrington. Great name.
He goes
Great
by
name.
Bub.
Yeah.
Bub's
Maybe even
Bub's
better.
a good nickname too.
Yeah,
when
like,
they said that, I go, hold up, Carlton Carrington is crazy.
But I mean, yeah, that'll be good, and they can root to lose every game. And friend of the program, Drew Gooden, wanted Sarr. He's happy, so hopefully they can add another sweet young player to that core. And they got Kuzma can be a trade chip if Poole plays really well. He could be a trade chip. Like, the sky's not falling. I'm trying to talk up our Wizards fans listeners here who are probably a little down.
Yeah.
What was their season opener? I mean,
what are you going on?
What is there even to say about the Celtics? Like, yeah, we smoked the fucking Wizards, who are essentially trying to lose as an organization. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I had a few. Well, okay, so I had a couple things. if we're gonna talk, let's talk the Celtics a little bit here.
Fair.
All right, Tatum obviously looks sick.
Mm.
Played the full first quarter. I have a great Dick Light stat that came out that Celtics were 13-1 last year when he played the whole first.
Okay.
So I wonder if that's something that Joe's 2-0. So I wonder if that's something that Joe's going to do. They talked a little bit about it on the broadcast, and Scal was saying that he's like he kind of was like,
Drew in the face.
It worked out yesterday. Well, yeah, Drew
snapped at him.
I know, dude, that was funny because Drew's like,
just fucking
so
told you.
To do
Drew.
He's like, I just fucking said. Dude, that was funny. That was a great
all right,
clip.
and there was like almost like an awkward silence too. They were kind of like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
he might have spaced out a little bit during that topic.
Yeah, or just thought he had more to add. And I was like, "That's everything I have, Drew. Like, why are you queuing me up again? Like, setting me up to fucking fail? Like, I didn't
play.
Didn't ask him anything again. Like,
that was good. All right, I'm glad that someone else did pick up on that too.
Yeah, that was
so
funny.
yeah, I mean, I think that that could be a decent little stretch. I mean, especially if he's going to be sitting out the whole fourth quarter anyway.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah, get your minutes in early. But yeah, I mean, why not do that? It's like I think that's a fine rotation. Last year, it was often Tatum was like the first guy to come out and then would come in with the bench.
Yeah.
I think the team's so deep and so stacked and the
I
bench
don't
is
know
so
if
good.
I
It
like
doesn't
that.
matter.
I think let him stay in. I like
Well,
this.
yeah.
Let him stay in and cook. Get him. Don't take him out first.
No, and we complained about it multiple times last year. We would say he would like get going early, and then it was like they took him out right away after he makes a couple shots, and then it seems like he sits and he kind of loses his momentum. So yeah. I mean, again, we'll see if this really is a thing because with Joe, like. I'm not putting too much stock in his answer, which was basically just like, yeah, that's what I was feeling. Like, I'm sure he always has like more of a plan that he's ever going to let on.
Oh yeah.
But so yes, definitely something to watch. But I agree, something that I like.
Yeah, he might maybe just setting up Tatum for some fourth quarter adversity for the game he does have to play in the fourth quarter. He'll have played a ton of minutes already.
Right.
Giving him a little bit of adversity.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if this Tatum MVP campaign is going to be real, he's going to have to probably play the first quarter of every game.
Okay, yeah, well, but here's my thing, because this is another question about that. And again, this is kind of like a fantasy land like discussion that we're having. But like, I don't get why if we play well enough where Tatum can rest every fourth quarter, I don't see why like he still couldn't get MVP. Like if we're just dominating that much, he's the best player. Okay, all right. Well,
but I mean,
last pod you were like, his biggest challenge might be that he doesn't play enough.
I'm just saying,
but like.
If you figure that happens across the course of the whole season, his stats will just be lower than like the top guys. So it's like he's probably not going to average
37. The
first game, but he had 26 tonight,
25
only
26.
or whatever. But he had 20 at halftime. That's my point. If it's a competitive game, he probably scores. He could go for 40. Like he could have gone for 50 in the opener. So he could still win if this keeps up. Obviously, like to this extent. But I'm just saying, in the long run, it'll probably hinder his stats if he's playing, 7 to 10 minutes fewer per game than the guys he's competing against. I don't know like how much the voters. I don't know. It would be such like an odd situation. So I don't know how they'd handle it, but we're gonna start seeing like, oh well, his per 25 minutes, like usually, you know, or his per 25 stats are like, yeah, exactly. So I mean, if that becomes a thing, which it could be, if this becomes a real debate, and everyone who argues for Tatum's gonna be like, he's also playing 7 minutes fewer per game than Luka and Jokic and like whatever. So
yeah,
we'll see. But, I mean, again, tonight, first game, he definitely would have got at least 40. Tonight, he definitely would have got a triple double. So. I mean, again, at the end of the year, like people might not remember, like, oh, but remember he came out in the fourth quarter. They're just gonna be like 25, 11, and 6. Like, nice.
Well, we're gonna have to work overtime pimping out this narrative.
Yes,
make them remember. The only other kind of note I had from like the gameplay, which by the end of the game, I feel like this kind of like turned a little bit, but I thought that Keita, I think offensively when he first came in, he was playing like he was in the right spot a couple times. He had a couple good like putbacks, a couple kind of drop off passes to him. But there was a few times on defense where he kind of like, and this was kind of an issue I think last year too. It's like he's not sure where to be.
Yeah.
But the thing that I love about him is that he's like almost doing that move where it's like when you're not sure what you're supposed to do at work, just like look wicked busy.
Yeah, he makes up for it with effort.
Yes, exactly. So it's like even on times where it's just like he's clearly not where he's supposed to be, his like feet would just be like pumping and he'd be like everywhere, and it's just like, all right, like so it's just like I feel like that's whenever it's at like the old Costanza thing too. It's like just always look just like you're crazy busy at work and kind of like work. So I think he ended up obviously having a pretty good game. He does look like he's slimmed down a bit too.
Yeah, perhaps.
Do we have a weight? Do we have an updated weight on Keita?
I don't know. It's definitely something at the intern to look into.
He felt built last year. This year he seemed a little bit more lean.
Maybe, just in better shape. I could see it for sure. And I mean, I thought he overall looked good. I think part of what you're saying is definitely like he's a little raw and is in the wrong place. Sometimes makes mistakes, but makes up for it with athleticism. I think said a lot last year. Like remind me of early years Robert Williams, kind of in that sense, where like the great plays are great and the bad plays are like, oh, what are you doing? But just like boneheaded stuff. But his motor is on 100, so it's like you can't even be mad.
It's so funny.
I also think it's like sticks out
if you
more.
Didn't know what you're looking for, you'd look at him and be like, oh, he's everywhere.
Well, yeah, and I mean he is, but he just shouldn't.
Yeah,
that's just not a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. But he's playing really hard.
Right, but I think also it's like even more noticeable because the other defenders in our rotation are on such a string that you're just like it's so out of character to see anyone like not making a perfect rotation that this guy's like running around backwards like what's happening out there because like everyone else is just so in lockstep.
It's hard to keep up.
Like it's hard to be up to that level, especially when you're not a guy who usually plays in the rotation coming in and suddenly like one mistake and we're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Just because everyone else is so good. So not really knock on Keita. Also, I forgot to mention when I was talking about the Wizards, Valanciunas, who I forgot that they signed and was like a wicked, weird, and random signing for a team that obviously is trying to win. He's just like a good NBA player, and he's just so fucking huge. I think a couple of those plays, he just almost like pushed Keita out of the way, but he's just like a very solid, professional, veteran big man. And he's another guy who, like, a team, if a center gets hurt or something, need a center to eat up 20 minutes a game. Like,
he's going to get traded somewhere.
Perfect minutes eater. Obviously, he's not like a crunch time guy on a playoff team, but just like super solid minutes eater. Will eat up every rebound in sight and can score down low like easily. Keita also attempted a 3 at the end of the game. The crowd almost went crazy and looked pretty good. It rimmed out, but that's fun.
I was expecting a lot more damage when he let that thing go. It wasn't too bad.
Solid looking shot, I thought overall. Yeah. So I didn't mind that. Other things I had on the game wasn't a few more, but Tatum getting some whistles in the first quarter. So another thing, speaking of that MVP thing, he was like getting to the line left and right. I thought it was. No, we don't have to get into any X's and O's, but the Wizards were clearly just doing everything to not get us to shoot threes in the early portion of the game, and the Celtics were just like, okay, we'll just get good matchups and go at you. And like the first game, everyone was like, shot all these threes, but didn't shoot a lot of free throws. Tonight, they were getting to the line. I think we had like 16 free throws in the first half or something. So it's just like, we can do whatever you want to take away, whatever you want to give us, we'll take it. We'll do the right thing. Just clinical. So good to watch. Also with Jalen too, he made like a couple kind of boneheaded, like whatever plays. And I was just thinking like, it's so nice to just like not care at all. Like you can have like a 15 turnover game and in past we might be like, Jalen brain melt. Now it's just like, whatever, like It's the Finals MVP. Like, dude can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, he's
Still had like a sick game. It's just like so nice to not even. I mean, those moments are so few and far between now where he makes mistakes, and like who cares? And I just trust him also to not make up for it. Like he had that fast break off the Tatum outlet where he went behind the back into like a Euro step and finished like over 2 guys.
Yeah,
it's just like
finished it too.
Imagine him doing that like 5 years ago, attempting that. Even you'd be like, Jesus Christ! Like,
So
and he just made it look like so
pissed.
casual, and you just the guy's just unbelievable. So. That was my takeaway. Pritchard, obviously a second late, but another like 3/4
Oh
court
my
shot.
God, dude.
Just,
Dude, that's
it's
like
hilarious.
crazy. They need to like study.
it really
it.
is
Like,
wild.
I don't know what you would like look for in that, but like there's got to be like something.
Yeah, he's just like,
Like,
a
if
legit
he was-
buzzer expert.
Yeah, like if he was
Crazy.
born like 300 years earlier than now, like he would be like an expert, like I don't know what, like a archer, like a long range archer or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe the guy who shoots the first
Like,
fire
just-
arrow that has to light like something
Yeah,
far away.
dude, he's just like it's so crazy.
Yeah,
Like that's bizarre. I've
Yeah,
never
it
really
is.
seen that.
It's
If that
impeccable.
counted too, that one would have been great because
That's
that
a
one
deep
was
one.
literally like 90 feet. Yeah, that was fucking
it was
crazy.
awesome, right off the glass.
Yeah, Pritchard, he had a great night too. He had 15 points.
I could
he was
you could
shooting
tell
shooting
right
lights
5
out.
minutes into this, like, oh, it's gonna be a Pritchard night. Before we even go in the game,
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's having a great
As
one.
soon as I saw Hauser was out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even other ones,
Yeah.
like this, you see, like at Washington, 2 games after, yeah, like there's a Pritchard game.
Fridge game, big time. Chuddy Bar cash tonight. We had what did I have? Derek White 15 plus points.
Yeah,
Jalen
JB.
Brown 25 plus points, and Celtics plus 15 or more
birthday
threes
parlay.
made.
yeah,
Yeah, I had to include him in the birthday parlay. A little bit funny, obviously, but like, so I looked at the, it was getting close to the end of the third, so I was looking up like at the stat thing just to start getting the little stat tweet for the Chuddy's Corner account at Chuddy's Corner. Check it out. And I saw Jalen at 23, and then then it looked up my TV and he hit a 3, so I thought I cast the parlay about 15 minutes before I did, and it was hanging at 23 for
Didn't
a
get there
while,
by
and
much.
then he hit those last 2. Yeah, he got those last 2 shots that did it for me. But whew, that was a sweat because I was bragging. I'm glad I didn't tweet it, but I was texting out like, "Oh, it cashed."
yeah.
And I
could've been
realized
dangerous.
it did not cash.
No.
But yeah, Chuddy
It's-
Bar
it's-
1-1, so
Yeah.
that's solid start to the year.
Speaking of paying some
Um,
bills, maybe a good time to shout out the sponsor.
Oh, yep. We're not gonna forget today. Yeah. So I mean, are you done with the game? Pretty much. That's pretty much all in the game.
The only other thing I'll say
I feel
before
like-
we do that is that
Yeah. Do
there was
that,
another
then we'll do
couple
the
fun-
ad read
yeah,
before
it wasn't even really the game, but just we were talking about Drew and Scal. They had another like feisty moment during that MVP talk, I thought, where Drew was like, "What's he gonna need to average?" And Scal was like, "Oh, like it's not even about that." And it was like ripping him. It's like, "All right, dude, just give us like some numbers." Like, why are you being a dick? And then at the end of the game, I don't know if you're still listening, but they were talking about who would win the Celtics against the Pistons with 6 players on the court. So like 6 on 5 against the Celtics. Scal was just like,
That's
"Come
a
on, dude.
great-
Like, those are NBA players, man. Come on." Like,
Scal was just not impressed with
No.
the question.
not at all.
Oh wow! I was about to start trying to
It's
think
like
about it. Yeah.
insulted.
I mean, I guess it is.
It is a little,
It probably
but-
is pretty
It was
insulting.
just-
Yeah,
but I
guess
was
that
more
is
just
pretty-
thinking like it's funny that this is game fucking 2 of an 82 game season, and they're already at like who would win, Celtics?
I mean, yeah, honestly, Scal's going to have a little bit more open mind for some of these conversations with
Yeah.
the way the teams play.
Or they'll
because
just
there's gonna
fight
be
on
a lot
air.
of time. That'd be sick too. There's going to be a lot of like time filling
Yeah.
spots.
yeah. We'll have to come up with some
All
better hypotheticals, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is. I mean, yeah, that's a good one though.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we'll get into some stuff around the NBA. Before we do that, shout out to the sponsor, Nick Perino Real Estate. Nick Perino's got all your real estate needs covered. Big, small, anything, local, far away. He's
It
got you
moves like
covered.
every week.
Right. 'cause
That's how much he loves real estate.
Yes,
Can't say in one
yes.
else.
He wants the constant process of home buying.
Yeah,
That way,
he's
when
fiending
he's
it.
trying to when he's guiding you through that process, he's
Yeah.
oh, I did this just last week. I know exactly what I'm
It's
doing
like
here.
even in his
It's
spare
fine.
time, he can't stop moving.
Right. Because you never know. Some rules change, a form changes, so it's like he's
crazy.
on top of it. So
Locked
yeah,
in.
Nick Perino Real Estate. Make sure that you check him out. He's been a long-time sponsor of the show. Good guy, part-time co-host. I'm just trying to fuck Nick Perino, and that's PIRAINO.com. Nick
Yeah.
Perino. I've
certainly
always
will be
wanted
on the
to try to
program.
spell his name on air, but I didn't want to do it live without having it pulled up in front of me.
What other podcast sponsors will make appearances on the show too and shoot the shit about Celtics?
Crazy.
Like that's pretty sweet. So
that is, it's really something. So shout out to Nick, nickprater.com. All right, so yeah, some around the NBA stuff. I mean, assuming you got yourself a list, I have a couple things, so you can go, and anything you forget, I'll cover.
All right. Well, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I feel like the theme of the early season, for the most part, has been like injuries. There's just so many guys missing games. Obviously, some have been bigger than others, but even on the smaller scale, like Zion missing the opening night with an illness. Like an illness is brutal. To miss a game sick. I mean, it's not even a real injury. The Philly situation where like Embiid is just ramping up. It's like, what was training camp of the preseason for? Like, I don't understand why you're not ready.
And now isn't Philly getting investigated?
They're getting investigated, which also is just like, the whole thing is hilarious because it's like, well, they obviously broke the rules. If you're Philly, like, why would you admit that you're basically just load managing to start the year? Like,
right.
They've blatantly, the NBA has basically just said, like,
investigation
they basically just said, like, don't make this blatant. We just want the optics to look better. And Philly's just like, yeah, we're just like gonna rest. Yeah, he's not injured, just like ramping up. It's like,
that's
dude,
what
this is
with,
opening night, like national TV game. It's ridiculous. Also, in terms of the investigating, I don't know why teams, if they cared, which obviously they don't, just say the guy's sick. Be like, yeah, he has a migraine, or like he's fucking throwing up and shit. Yeah, like whatever. It shouldn't be that hard. Then how are they going to investigate that? So the whole thing's so dumb.
This is sidebar. I just caught Justin Jefferson is wearing an insane amount of jewelry.
Oh yeah, a lot of chains.
Wow. All right. Yeah, no, I mean, just real quick to touch on that, like, I don't understand how that investigation isn't, oh, you're arresting him, turn the page, okay, you broke the rule. So, like, whatever the rule is, they obviously broke it.
What are they going to go to his house? Be like, how hurt are you? Like, let me, like, doing the little, like, hammer on his knee, like,
Or like
no, he seems intact to me. Yeah.
The episode of The Office where, like, Toby and them, like, go to his house. And,
try hilarious.
Sitting like, oh, we caught you. And it's just like,
it's so
like
stupid.
Or something like
it's
that.
So stupid.
That'd be great.
So, yeah, I mean, but it's just pathetic. I hate to see it. But again, those are the big news. But everywhere around the league, it's like left and right. James Wiseman, who was, Kawhi now be out multiple weeks. Wiseman torn Achilles. Yeah, but DeJounte Murray got hurt in game one, hurt his hand. He's out indefinitely. There's like a ton of guys. It's a long list. This is absolute sicko mode, but thanks to mostly fantasy NBA, I have the notifications on from Underdog NBA, which is like going off nonstop. But it's just ridiculous. Like the amount of guys already like out Friday night, questionable. It's like it feels like NFL injury reports. So just sucks to see. And I hope this isn't a theme of the entire season. But so many guys missing in action already. Obviously, it was a big thing last year. So just hate to see that. Obviously,
yeah. Can are you going to talk more about Kawhi later, or should we talk about that?
So I was going to talk about the thing about his like former personal trainer suing the Clippers now. Is that what you were going to say, or?
Okay, well, yeah. Well, I wasn't sure who was doing the suing. I just saw that it was a loss. I thought that Kawhi was suing the Clippers.
Well, it's his personal trainer, who I guess the team got rid of.
Fired. Yeah.
Well, I think they're saying just his contract ended and they didn't bring him back. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough, but just hilarious.
So it sounds like I don't know anything about this.
I don't know exactly.
I have a quote.
It's a he says, she says so far. So it's, I guess, depends which side you believe.
Right. So they have, according to the lawsuit, Kawhi Leonard was supposed to miss 730 days with the ACL tear, which seems a little high.
2 years?
But yeah. But due to demand for productivity from Leonard and having failed to make the playoffs in 2022, it was decided that Leonard would return to play at the beginning of the season.
2 full years is a lot. But I mean, again, but like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. He has degenerative knees. Maybe the guy needs more time. Like, he's obviously fucked his body. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I just feel like if you need 2 years to recover from an ACL, you should just retire. I don't really.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he was basically trying
2 years.
Like, no, dude, you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. I don't think so.
Whoa.
I need another year.
Massive arena. We just built a massive arena. Like, Paul George is gone. Like, you are playing, sir.
Right. I don't know.
I mean, it does sound a little. I mean, I've been a critic of Kawhi. Just like not. I mean, I like him as a player, but I've always just thought that, namely you, have just like put him in too high of conversations. He's accomplished obviously a lot of great things. 2-time champion, finals, 2-time finals MVP. Won it with 2 different teams. Yeah. Like, has he won a league MVP? Maybe?
No. I think he came in second or third. The year Westbrook won, right? He should have won it. Or one of the hardest. Yeah. The Harden year, the Westbrook year, he should have won it.
So, like, I get all that, but I just think it's like, I mean,
But like, it
rubber
just
hits the road. It's
but it's like his body failed him. His knees are just fucked. Like,
no, I get it. Like, what did I say? I said he's Brandon Roy with rings. That's like if Brandon Roy was
he's
sick.
way better than Brandon Roy was, though. That's crazy. Like,
he lasted longer.
it's not even lasting longer. His highs were so much higher. Brandon Roy was never one of the best players in the league. Like, there was a year or two where you could make the argument Kawhi was literally the best player in the world. The Toronto year, like, he was
getting you going.
He was that guy.
The Toronto year is like legit. That's the reason. That's like I will always because that was just pretty good. Crazy that he just went there and.
How many guys have hit that peak
for half a year?
Who's hit that peak ever? Like, it's 10 guys maybe. That's what I mean. So obviously he doesn't have the longevity and he won't. But like, what can you do? He got hurt.
But yeah, my original point. What I just lost my original point there was basically to say that does suck ass if it's like a negligence or like a malpractice thing.
Well,
that did lead to some of these injuries, and I'll feel bad for being so hard on him if it was something like. But 730 days for an ACL, I can understand if your employer's like, oh, 2 years, dude, come on. Like, that's a lot. If I try to miss like a month of school for like, I don't know, like
cold.
Cold. Yeah, a little cold. Like, my boss would be like, okay, look, like, we want you to be healthy, but like,
well, you know. My personal trainer says that my immune system needs.
Right, yeah. My own personal trainer is telling me.
But the team did
employ him. Recently let go, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's an interesting story. That'd be an interesting one. What else do you have for around the league?
So then, just in terms of the game, it was actually just like kind of by chance, I guess. I would think they would do a little better to plan this, but like almost a comically bad slate. I'm a sicko, so I watched every game. There were some good games, but just looking at the matchups, is like there wasn't really one single matchup in the entire night that moved the needle, which is just kind of an unfortunate occurrence, I guess. But just bumping through them real quick. Magic looking good on the road. Absolutely shit pumped the Heat. Had like a 21-point win in the third quarter, beat them like 39-18. That team, the way they play defense, every guy is awesome. And when the offense clicks, like in the third quarter, they just got on fire. When that happens, they're going to fucking bag some teams.
We've been saying it. If you've been listening to the Chuddy's Corner pod, we've been saying the Magic are coming.
It's good to see it in action.
What do you have, 33-11? He's at 50% from the field.
And I don't think he played the end of the game either because they're fucking spanking him. So
they're crushing him.
He might
Jimmy
suck.
Butler,
Magic might be
3
good.
points. Yeah,
1 of 8 from the field. Yep, didn't make a 3. Fun, good start. The Lakers actually looked good. Redick might actually be a good coach. They looked way better than last year, so this might be just replacing Darvin Ham with like a forward thinker might just make that team so much better. But we'll see. Interesting. Minnesota didn't look so good after opening night. Winner of the Cat Randall trade, maybe no one. We'll see.
Both teams. It does almost seem like both teams just fucked themselves up for no reason.
One game, so we'll see.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, but
neither
early returns not awesome on either side. I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Cavaliers spanked the Raptors. Whatever. Raptors, another team that Emmanuel quickly already hurt. RJ Barrett's hurt. Olynyk's hurt. Like, what the fuck? Raptors might be another Cooper Flag team, especially if they can't get healthy. But Cavs looked good. Evan Mobley had a good game. He looked real good. If he takes a leap, that team that I already was high on could be really, really good. And then Jared Allen could become a trade guy for potentially a better fit. Another star could be interesting. So that was fun. Grizzlies barely hung on to beat a feisty Jazz team, but just good to see the Grizzlies back in action. Rough night for Zach Edey. He's playing a little bit of prison ball. I think he fouled out in like 15 minutes. Not great.
See,
that's going to happen. But welcome to the NBA.
That to me is not a great night. To me, that's awesome. I thought that was incredible when I saw that.
I guess
15 minutes fouling out. That is.
It's not great if you want to be your starting center. Well, I think that's kind of the concern. It's the league too fast for him, and he's too big and like lumbering, and he's just hacking guys left and right because he can't move his feet fast enough. So one game, I don't want to overreact.
I still think that's like great. Like how many times? Like you'd like that for a guy, maybe not like your first round pick, but it is. I've always said that teams don't use like well, just like go put a back of the bench guy out there just to knock guy out.
15 minutes. That's too little. Maybe if this was first game of summer league, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But it's like, dude, you're the starting center now on a team that wants to like be in the playoffs. You gotta give me a little more. You gotta find a way to give me a little more than that. But they did win. Good to see them back. Ja back, Marcus back. Good win. But again, Jaren Jackson hurt, didn't play. Like he's out next game too. So it's like every team almost has a guy hurt. It's unfortunate. The Warriors big win over a hapless Blazers team, another Cooper Flag team. But I don't know if you saw this. The Warriors played a 12-man rotation. Kerr basically played all his players and claimed that this is like the plan. And he's like, our strength is our depth. It sounds good and it's easy to say when you beat the Blazers by 40 points, but this is not gonna work. Like, also, and it's also
asshole say you couldn't find a way to win.
Exactly. That was what I was leading into. It's even more like, is he just trying to like double down or like
12th man?
Unbelievable catch by Justin Jefferson just now, but
hell yeah.
So that was just like comical and just like, fuck Steve Kerr, like what an asshole.
Hold
also,
on, I need to see something here.
The Hornets.
So you can find time for Lindy Waters.
Lindy Waters is solid, but again,
and
it's just
something Santos.
Gui, Gui, Santos.
Gui.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Shout out to those guys. No
well,
offense.
I don't think those are the actual part of the rotation guys. That was at the end of that game. But I'm saying even in the like rotation, like not like garbage.
Moody. Moses Moody.
I mean, Moody they just extended. Like they have a deep team and these guys are good. I'm just saying this isn't going to work over the course of a season. Like there's a reason teams don't generally do this. But just funny that he's even saying that's like the plan. Like, okay, but I'll believe that when I see it. And then the last thing I had to say on last night, the Hornets, nice comeback win on the road to beat the Rockets. LaMelo had a great game, but again, fucking Brandon Miller got hurt. So it's just like, we can't have nice things, but it was cool to see the Hornets like win a game against a seemingly decent team. So that was good.
Yeah. Charles Lee too. Shout out to
Charles
Lee.
Exactly. Getting the dub.
They're
launching threes, playing like
a nice little feisty team.
If they can stay healthy and get everyone healthy, yeah. And they got a couple moves to make. Grant had
I see Grant Williams hitting a diesel 3 too at the end to take the lead.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
Yeah. So I mean that is nice. That was the only stuff I had on games that happened last night. I also wanted to mention a funny bit of like I can barely even call this news, but the news guys were tweeting about it today. So that like the Clippers had agreed finally, apparently, to let PJ Tucker seek a trade, which is just hilarious because it's like, what? Obviously, if the Clippers can get anything trading PJ Tucker, who they're not playing, and I don't even think is like with the team, like it's just like hilarious to say like, nah, dude, we're like
we're him go.
We're not allowing you to trade. Right? It's just like, okay, like great. If you're gonna do like our legwork for us, that sounds awesome. Like.
Yeah.
Please do. Like, let us know ASAP if you find anything.
Yeah. We've tried and there's no one, but if you can find
anyone wants your, like, maybe still playable, maybe not, $10 million contract, like, that would be so sick because we, like, definitely don't want to cut you. We're not playing you. It's just, like, funny that passes as news, but I thought
that is a great headline.
And I mean, he's a dog, he's a good vet. Like, I'm not saying a team couldn't use him, but, like, if he was just like on the street and you wanted to fill your last roster spot, he's like a buyout guy, but just be like, yeah, like they're allowing him to seek trade. Like, oh my God, like PJ Tucker's on the trade market. It's like, all right, let's relax here.
Lucky league.
Yeah. And then the last thing I had is just like a bit of sad news. I don't know if you saw this, but Amir Abdul-Rahim passing away today, the coach for South Florida's basketball team who had like one of the hottest young coaches, only 43 years old, came in to South Florida from, I think, Kennesaw State. He turned that program around, came in, had the best year by far in the history of South Florida. They were at 25 wins. They were in the top 25 at one point. And he was just having like a medical procedure done, was supposed to be fine, and he died during the procedure.
Jesus
43
Christ.
years old. Also the younger brother of Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who was an NBA legend for a while, and I think is now like the head of, maybe like the G League Players Union head, or he's some role like that, but a long time NBA All-Star. So just like tragic situation, and I wanted to shout that out and rest in peace. It sucks.
Damn, that is shitty.
Yeah.
All right, well, fuck. I was gonna make fun of somebody. I feel like can I pivot to?
Yeah, no. Just wanted to make sure we mention that, but that's
no, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's shitty, especially if he's that young. I just wanted to. I mean, he's obviously a professional troll, but Nick Wright is saying the NBA is playing a dangerous game with the Celtics style right now. This is going to be fucking awesome if we're the team that this year has everyone wanting to change the rules and stuff. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, and you mentioned a little bit in the Knicks episode. It's like we're not just going up there and just like taking a bunch of threes. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening to make those threes like open good shots. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just feel like people that say shit like that, like enjoy. Awesome. Like I saw, speaking of idiots, Tony Maz too, like had like a video that was like enjoy like watching this, and it all was like all the Celtics threes, but it was just they're all clipped to like right the moment that we shot them. So there's like nothing about it. It just looks like guys just heaving up threes. Mm-hmm. Learn ball. And like I will enjoy watching that. Thank you, Tony. That's what I want to say too. Yeah, it was. I am absolutely going to enjoy every second of it. funny. I thought that was incredible.
So enjoyable. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, like what you just said, and I've seen it from even another few people who I respect more than Nick Wright saying the same thing. Like, this is bad for the league. They need to change the rules. Blah blah blah. And it's just like, shut the fuck up.
But I don't
like,
get
drink
how
these
you
tears.
that rule.
Well, and also like. It's not the problem isn't the rule. Or every team would be doing this. I watched all the games last night. Most teams make like 9 threes a game and can't do what the Celtics are doing. They can't. It's all about the way we generate the threes with good shooters who then make the threes. It's not anything to do with the rules of the league or anything like that. And again, if
I just
so
still
fucking
don't
mad
even
about
get what
it,
people
then
say.
go do that. Then every team should do that. Like,
yeah, I just still don't get like what's the rule. Is it like
Right.
you can't shoot more? Like once you hit 15 threes,
it
you
would
can
just be
only
probably
shoot
to
twos?
take away corner threes and have the line like not straighten out to go right out of bounds, and they maybe even move it back. So you can't just sprace the corner by having guys in the corners like that. Is one thing I've heard. I don't know if what else you do, but I mean, but yeah, well, it's not happening again. It's just jealousy and
But yeah,
bitter despair for haters.
Last season, I did notice there's like a sizable shift. It feels like in the media, everything. Even Kendrick Perkins was on TV saying he's like the Celtics offense is the best I've seen. It's like, bro, it's the same team doing the same thing as last year.
They've just
and you
won
shit
now.
on them the whole entire year.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, well, the Celtics are really doing something. It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yes,
it's not.
They have
it's
been
the same
for quite a while.
Yes.
No, it's
same thing they've always been doing.
I'm going to enjoy it. The revenge tour is in full effect and it fucking rules. So
yeah,
let's
exactly.
go.
I'm not really too
2 down,
about,
80 to go.
People in like Memphis or Montana or something are watching the NBA because of the Celtics.
Or I guess 16-2. So 2 down, 96 to go. Road to 98 wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be what? That'd be undefeated. 98. Yeah.
82-0, 16-0.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's within reach.
It's on the table. You can't rule it out at this point of the season. They're 2-0. They've done.
I bet right now we are probably favored to win every game. So
we've done everything we can do up to this point to go 82-0.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then some.
All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, I think that's about all that I got. This game was fun. I guess for Celtics fans, but
looking forward to way more of these.
We have to change the rules. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, make sure, Chuddy Heads, if you're listening, make sure you hit the subscribe button, support the podcast, support the podcast, and tell your friends to subscribe, and they'll tell their friends, and then we'll all be friends. Make sure you're following us at Chuddy's Corner on Twitter, on X, whatever you prefer to call it. He's at King Chuddy. I'm at Doug_outs. Give us both a follow. On nights the Celtics aren't playing, Chuddy's got all the games going too, so keep an eye out on his Twitter feed. He's gonna be live tweeting a lot of those heavy slates too.
Yeah.
And shout out again, Nick Prano Real Estate. Check him out, nickprano.com. That's all for tonight's Chuddy's Corner. We'll be back at it on Saturday after the Celtics take on the Detroit Pistons. That game should have a little bit of spice to it, just with Jalen. Didn't Jalen kind of chirp the Pistons or something like that earlier in the offseason? Did he say something about?
Drew just said we could beat him 5-on-6. So, yeah, there's definitely Magic got fired up about what Eddie said.
I was just going to say, fuck. So, so that game actually, there's
the
be some
Pistons
fireworks.
Are not a good team, but I think you'll see pretty quickly from Saturday night.
Staff,
they're better
right?
than the
guy
Wizards.
from the
They got Bickerstaff. They brought in a good coach. Nice coaching shift. Cade had a really good game. They almost beat the Pacers last night.
They got Cade.
They're playing Ivy. Duran looks good. They have real, competent NBA players around them. Tobias Harris, not that he's good, but, he's a real guy. So that team's a lot better than the Wizards.
He's real.
So that's all I'll say. We should win, obviously, but they're a lot better than the Wizards.
All right. Perfect. All right. We'll see you all back here on Saturday. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy Heads.